Today, I'm going to show you how to boost your immune system in a natural, healthy way. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for my second episode. Today we are going to learn how to boost your immune system naturally with elderberry syrup here. I do get this off of Amazon. I can have a link below. It is an affiliate link, so if you do click on it, I do get a percentage, but it's no extra cost to you. So I started taking this about a year ago, I would say, just because I heard that it has healthy properties in it. And then I did a little bit more research on what kind of vitamins and stuff that it has in it to go ahead and boost your immune system, because supposedly it's amazing. Well, it is. Not only does it have a great source of vitamin C, vitamin A, fiber, and oxidants, they have so many things in here that I highly recommend to take. It is a superfruit. That's exactly what it is. It's a superfruit. I don't recommend taking them raw. You have to use them cooked because it can be poisonous to you raw. Anyway, I'm gonna teach you how to make elderberry syrup. I actually found my recipe off of Wellness Mama. I'll have that link down below as well for the recipe. I use different things in between for not just fresh ingredients. I also use essential oils in my recipe as well if I'm out of something. So we're gonna go ahead and learn how to make that. One of the reasons why I like to use it is I heard that it's great for colds and flus, and then with everything going on with coronavirus and that boosting your immune system, you can use everything you got right now. So I have a lot of my family members taking it. I got my parents on it. I've got my husband's parents on it. So all the kids are on it. One of the stories I'm going to tell you is this happened to me personally. So last year, my oldest got the flu about 3 days before we were supposed to fly out and do a video for Stitch Fix out in Austin. This had something to do with our subscription unbox channel that we went ahead and did as a family. And he got diagnosed with the flu on a Tuesday, and we were supposed to fly out on Friday. So we were freaking out. We're like, oh no. I was like, we need to do something for him. He can't go out sick. I was like, I can't put him on the plane with the flu. And I was worried. I was like, my poor baby. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I need to get all this stuff for him, make him feel better. I got lucky enough that his main symptom was just fatigue and a fever. So after getting diagnosed with the flu from his doctor on Tuesday afternoon, I actually drove to a person that is local because, again, at this time I didn't know too much about elderberries. I was told that this would work for him. Sure. I'll try anything right now. If it can get him on the plane, I'll do that. Yes, I was not going to take him. No, I was not going to take him if he was still sick. Just know that. Family comes first. So I found a lady that lives about 45 minutes from me. I drove down and bought a 16-ounce jar of elderberry syrup. And my homeopathic doctor that I was seeing, I told him about it. He said that that would be a fantastic idea of having him on the elderberry and told me the dosage to go ahead and do that. So I was able to go ahead and give him a tablespoon of elderberry syrup every 2 to 3 hours. Probably about the 3-hour mark is where I was doing that until his symptoms subside. So that's what I started doing Tuesday night. By the time all day on Wednesday, so by the time Wednesday evening rolled around, he didn't have a single symptom. His appetite picked back up. He didn't have a fever. There was no fatigue. He was running around with his little brother. You never would have known. Never would have known. So I was going to continue this because I want to make sure. So I still kept giving it to him every 3 hours. And by the time Thursday rolled around, he was perfectly fine. You never would have known. It was amazing. And if that made me a firm believer right there that this is a superfruit and I need to make sure my family takes it on a daily basis. So other properties that the elderberry syrup has is it helps with it's a natural anti-inflammatory. So that's the reason why it helps with the cold and flu and allergies and things like that, is because it helps keep the inflammation down in your face and in your sinus cavities and stuff like that, so that you actually don't have such a backup of mucus and everything. There's actually studies out there that they're still doing that it's supposed to help reduce blood pressure. It's supposed to help with your circulation. It does help with your digestive system because of the fiber that it has in it, but also the elderberry recipe has ginger, which also helps with soothing your stomach. So there's all kinds of properties in this that is amazing, and it also, because of the antioxidants in it and some of the vitamins and the fiber that is in it as well, it helps actually detox your body. So that's another reason why I recommend it when you're trying to clean out your system. It helps detox your body naturally. So now we're going to show you how I make my recipe. It does vary from batch to batch because sometimes I decide I want a little bit more cinnamon in it, or I want it a little bit spicier, so I put more fresh ginger in it than I would normally put. Or I may have forgotten to go to the store and actually have all of my ingredients, and I'll use a oil instead of the fresh ingredient. And I'll show you how I do that next. Okay, so you are seeing my kitchen. So everything that I have in my kitchen is actually mine. I buy personally. Of course, I've got my elderberries, which is in the recipe. I have my cinnamon and my cloves, and then something extra, and then I add to it is goji berries or wolfberries, whichever one you want to call them. I add these to it because they're really good and antioxidants as well. Since I don't have ginger, I'm going to be adding the oils to that, but I'm going to do that after it cools off because I don't want to burn off the good parts of the oils. And then I also add thieves, which is supposed to be really good for your immune system as well, so help boost that up a little bit more. I add this as well. So right now the recipe like I said, the recipe I use is from Wellness Mama, and I'll have that link in the description. And I do filter my water when I'm making it because, I mean, Texas water, tap water is actually not that bad, but during the summer it can taste like lake water, mud. It's disgusting. So I'm doing 3.5 cups of water. And we're going to bring that to a boil and then let it simmer for 45 minutes. This is 2/3 cups of elderberry that I go ahead and add in there. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. I like to normally add fresh ginger, but again, I don't have that right now. So I'm going to use, they have a Young Living line of, they're called Vitality oils. It just means that they're clearly marked for ones that you can actually ingest and cook with. Most of the time you don't want to go ahead and use these when something is boiling or hot because it cooks off the good parts of the oil that's healthy for you. So that's the reason why I'm waiting to add those on there. And then the honey is something that you also add to your recipe, but you wait until it's cooled down because again, you don't want to boil that. All I do is just add a handful of the berries. I don't really measure it out. I just literally grab a fistful and I add them to it. I don't want to add too many because to me the berries are very bitter. So I don't like to add too many because it kind of tastes really nasty. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get that stirred in just a little bit, and then we will go ahead and let that simmer for 45 minutes to an hour. Mainly the recipe wants you to go ahead and let it pretty much reduce by almost half is what the recipe says, and mine normally does reduce about half, so I guess we're going to come back to that when we get reduced. Okay, so we let our elderberry and our goji berries simmer for 45 minutes and let it reduce by about half at least. And so now, hopefully I don't make a complete mess of this. So now we're putting it through, yep, I already did it. Putting it through the strainer and then into a measuring cup so that I can go ahead and mix everything. And what they want you to do now, hopefully you can still see this as I'm doing it, they want you to squish the berries. It gets all of the good nutrients out without like putting all of the gunk in there. So it does take a minute for me to go ahead and do that. So as you can see, it is quite dark, so you got to be careful on how you're doing it because I've had it stain a shirt. Thank goodness I had dark jeans on, so it didn't really notice at that point. But my shirt was definitely ruined. All So I haven't found any recipes to reuse the berries because there is quite a bit left over. So we'll see if maybe I can end up finding a recipe, or maybe you guys might know of one. So I'm gonna put that off to the side. So now that it is completely cooled is now when I can go ahead and add these oils that I had told you about. So I don't have fresh ginger to add, so usually it has 2 teaspoons or tablespoons, I don't remember which one. I'll put the recipe up on the screen, and what you can go ahead and do is screenshot that if you need to go ahead and keep that in mind if you don't want to go ahead and go to their website. So just screenshot this right now, that way you can have that recipe. So since I don't have fresh ginger, I am using this Vitality Ginger by Young Living. What I'm going to do is use 2 drops, sometimes 1 and 2. So I've got that one in there, and then I'm also using Eve's Vitality. Again, it's by Young Living because it's why it says Vitality is it's clearly labeled that you can ingest it. Makes it really easy. So I like to use Thieves in this just because it does give it a little bit of a flavor, and it helps your immune system. So anything with COVID. So I put 3 drops of the Thieves in there because I really do like the flavor of this on top of liking the smell. So if you are interested in those oils, I do have a link down below of mine that you can go ahead and buy those oils if you like, or if you just want more information, you can always contact me as well. I'm going to pour this into the mason jar. I like to keep a mason jar because I can go ahead and put a big tablespoon, just like literally from just a big spoon from the drawer, and dip it in there and take it, give it to my kids, everything like that. It's just easier that way. So I know that my little spatula won't fit in there, so I'm gonna get another one. Sorry, you're seeing my mess of a drawer. So one of the other things is you're gonna add a cup of honey to this. Our farmer's market has been closed, and the first time it opened up, I didn't get to go. So I don't have any local honey, which is what I normally like to use because it's supposed to help with allergies and things like that, which is good for the kids and myself, and of course Ben. So all I got was the organic honey at the store since I wasn't able to get any new. And I have made a huge mess out of this before, so hopefully I won't do that this time, even though it's pouring down the side, but at least it's in the jar this time. And because it takes forever to get off of my counter. And sometimes I have my 4-year-old deciding that he wants to help me, so that makes even more of a mess. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and that way I can stir everything together. So I know a couple of people have used like regular sugar and things like that, but honey to me tastes the best. And the syrup has the consistency of having, I would say, maple syrup warmed up. So it's not like a complete like syrup. To me, it has that kind of consistency, so it is quite liquidy, so be careful when you're taking it out. And then it does take a little bit to go ahead and get the actual honey mixed in, but it doesn't take very long. That's another reason why I like having it in the mason jar, because I like to shake it up and have the oils in there too. So to me, I like having the oils in there more often than the actual fresh stuff. But like the cinnamon I really like to go ahead and use the oils because it's more I guess vibrant flavor. But with the ginger, I like fresh ginger on. I just like the flavor of it. Like I will take a piece of it and eat it. I like the flavor of fresh ginger. So I'm kind of disappointed I don't have that in there this time. But the cinnamon is amazing. And then so you have it. Now that I've made all this mess, this is what I normally go ahead and have in my refrigerator constantly. I also have it to where my family has it. Like my parents, they make their own now too. My mother-in-law, I still go ahead and take a jar over to her, make it easier. If you have any questions on the recipe, make sure to hit me down in the comments. I will make sure I try my best to answer those. If not, Ben, of course, always gets on to me about it. He's pretty awesome that way. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.